Hello, everybody. Welcome to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Glad to have you with us this week. We got a great story with one of our great citizens here in Northern Nevada. You'll never forget it after we're finished telling the story, so stay tuned. We'll be back with it right after this.
Hi there. I'm Hugh Roy Marshall of the Marshall Mint in Virginia City, Nevada. I'm proud to announce that our 7-ingot set honoring the V&T Railroad is now finished.
That's right, Roy. These beautiful 999 silver ingots celebrate the engines from the world-famous V&T Railroad and honor Nevada's sesquicentennial. These limited edition treasures can be purchased only at the Marshall Mint in Virginia City, Nevada.
Or visit us at marshallmint.com to get yours today.
Get the Charter Spectrum Triple Play. It's more than meets the eye. With over 200 free HD channels available, it's the most HD you can get. Instant access to over 10,000 on-demand movies and shows. Plus the Charter app for live TV that jumps to mobile devices in any room. All that for $29.99 a month. Switch to Charter Spectrum Internet. Faster than the speed of WoW. Take off with 60 megs of speed. Bandwidth that lets multi-people multitask, stream movies, play games, watch videos, and share vines all at once. No slowdowns. Shazam! For only $29.99 a month. Just call 877-959-1634. Then pick up Charter Spectrum Voice for unlimited local and long-distance calling. And catch this. No drop calls. Stuck in a contract? Charter pays up to $500 to get you out. Charter Spectrum TV, Internet, and Voice, $29.99 a month each. Call 877-959-1634. See for yourself. Call Charter today.
Spring arrives at Boutique Elegante. The fabulous colors of spring, all in denim fabrics, but with accents on color, color, color. Of course, sweaters are a must. The newest color block in soft weaves. Influenced by the rainbow, beautiful little dresses, gaucho sets, the blending of fabrics to create caprice sets. Exquisite fashions for your tropical holiday, a special dinner, or the opera. You'll find all of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
Welcome, everyone, to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show. And as usual, my sidekick over there on the other side of the set, Roy Marshall, is with us today. Welcome, Roy.
Hey, Johnny. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Beautiful day.
You betcha.
Good to have you with us again today.
Oh, it's good to be here.
Our special guest, though, today, yes. We're very honored to have Mr. Dick Gammick.
Yeah.
If you might recall, he just retired as district attorney for Washoe County, and we want to welcome you to the show.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to have you on the show for a long time,
yeah.
So glad to have you with us. We got a lot of stories we want to hear from you because you've had quite the career here in the city. So we look forward to that. Before we get started with you, Dick, though, we want to go back to Roy, because Roy is working up there on the Comstock in a lot of different ways, and also tells us why we do the show. We've been doing this thing for about 190 episodes now, so great show, and we've accomplished a lot over the years. So I'll turn it over to you, Roy, and you can tell us why we do the show.
Yeah, well, we started this, 5 or 6 years ago, first on radio, and then because we didn't have any pictures or whatever, but what I do is make up silver and gold bars. This is what they look like before they are pressed or minted. But the reason why we do this show is that everybody in this world leaves a mark on the earth from what they have done. Some probably not too good at marks, but there has been a lot of people have done great things in our area. And we do the show to bring those community leaders out as quickly as we can before they may accidentally pass away or that we don't get their history. So this is totally about the marks that people make on the earth. And the reason why the state of Nevada is such an important state in the United States is because if it wouldn't have been for the Comstock, we may have been France, Germany, and England, because we owed as a country more than what we were worth to France, Germany, and England.
Yes.
So it was the Comstock wealth that really brought the first United States into being. And, of course, one of the most important things we did here, too, was to develop the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
And the Carson City silver dollar from
famous
Comstock
dollar.
Ore. So this is all for the history of it, and it's for our state, and we want you to be proud to live here.
Yeah.
If you do, you'll take better care of your family, and we figure probably maybe do better care of your lawn, maybe.
Exactly.
Why not?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, we don't want to let people forget about your 7-piece set there.
We finished the locomotive one. Now we're doing the wild horse one, so we'll have a wild horse set out here within another month or two.
Yeah, now you have a limited supply of those, right? So they've been selling like hotcakes, according to Lucy up there.
Oh, yeah. We've already sold well over 1,000 or something.
Yeah. Where's the Marshall Mint located up there?
First place on your right as you're coming from Reno, or the last place on your left if you're coming from Carson.
96 North C Street.
96 North C
That's
Street.
right. And the website is?
MarshallMint.com.
Right. And what about your Silverland Inn and Suites?
And we got a hotel up there, not just for charity. We'd love to have you come there and stay there.
That's right. Most of the year it is a charity, isn't it?
Yeah, they needed a hotel. But a swimming pool in there and beautiful rooms, and go up there, take your honey, and enjoy it, and get away and have a fun time up in Virginia City.
Yeah. Well, what's neat now is they have a steakhouse that's open most of the week. So Lance Gilman put it in up there called the Mustang Steakhouse, and it's great food.
Sure.
So you can stay overnight, have a nice dinner. What a place to go for an overnighter, right, Dick?
The Mustang Steakhouse?
Yeah, Mustang Steakhouse. Well,
I'm surprised I haven't been raising some cane about that.
Oh, yeah, well, you know.
We have stayed at the hotel up there. We had a DA convention, state convention.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
a few years ago.
Yeah, pretty cool place.
Nice place, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful view
that
from
was
the back
one
end.
drawback, no food. So we
no food.
go up to the main street to find.
We're going to put a restaurant
dining.
bar in there in time. It's just, this is not our type of business. Really.
Yeah, we got a son Andrew up there now, so we're looking forward to some big things.
We're training one of the boys here to do some good.
Yeah, well, listen, we're here with Dick Gammick. Everybody knows him from the Washoe County District Attorney's Office, where you served as the district attorney for how many years, Dick?
20.
20 years. And what a colorful career you had. You know, there are district attorneys and district attorneys, and you were more out front, probably more than most. I think maybe Mills Lane and you were probably the most charismatic district attorneys that you would see in most communities, right?
I had a great mentor, and I learned a lot from him. And that was Mills. And, I'll tell you a story here in a minute about how we got together.
Before we do that, though, we want to find out where you're from and how you wound up being the district attorney here in Washoe County. So I understand that you had your beginnings over there in the east side of the state. Tell us where.
I was born in Elko General Hospital, 1946. Raised in Elko, Elko Indian at Elko High School.
Okay.
Played football, track, basketball.
Small town at that point, right?
Yep. We had 7,500 people total in the county.
No kidding.
And it was something. I could go hunting or fishing for days and never see another human being.
Yeah. What's the river that runs through there?
Humboldt River.
Well, that's the Humboldt. Yeah. Was it good fishing in those days? Yeah.
Not so much the Humboldt. That had a lot of carp in it.
Oh, it did?
A lot of country up there in Elko County to go fishing in.
Yeah. Because what is that, Spring Valley over in the back of...
There's Spring Creek.
Creek.
That wasn't even there. That was sagebrush.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Lamoille was 30 miles out of town at the base of the Ruby Mountains, and there were 3 ranches between Elko and Lamoille.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a fair highway, and you'd head there over to Lamoille or go up into the Ruby Mountains.
Okay, because Spring Creek is a pretty good-sized community now.
I need to tell you, there's a big Italian population up there.
So
there is. I have to talk.
Yeah, with the gestures, right?
Dick, John and I have been wanting to do a show up in Elko. We've commonly done this at the museums in Fallon and for Churchill County and for other ones. I don't know. What do you think would be a way to tackle Elko to get a good show up there? Do it in the museum, you think, or do it in the courthouse?
They've got a neat museum up there.
They can start there and go out from there, huh?
They had, what's his name? Mike Boyce.
Mike Boyce.
Who has animal artistry.
Oh, yeah.
They had a benefactor donate a mountain, literally, of wild animals to him, stuffed animals and stuff.
Fantastic.
And Mike went up there. He was commissioned to go up to Elko, and he built a whole room, this huge diorama of all these stuffed animals.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really probably one of the most unique things I've seen that's been done that way.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
That's good.
Build a mountain, go on clear into the corner, and it's all stocked with different kinds of sheep, and even has an elephant. And African diorama. For a small town, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Now that's cowboy country up there for sure, right?
Absolutely.
Elko and the surrounding areas. So you probably got into rodeo and all those kinds of interest as an early guy, right? Yeah. And then your dad, was he a businessman up there, or was he a rancher too?
Well, if I can back up just a little bit, my dad was an orphan at 18 in New York City.
Oh, New York City.
He came out here, but I never found out why, because he never talked about it. Well, he was a boxer. He was a fighter.
Oh, boxer. Okay.
And I finally sat down and I read, Jack Dempsey gave me his autobiography years ago when I was a teenager. And
Fantastic.
I finally sat down and read that. And then I read what Guy Clifton wrote about Jack Dempsey in Nevada. And it dawned on me why my dad was here. This was one of the 2 boxing centers in the world at that time.
Right, one of the biggest boxing matches happened not too far from us here with Johnson and who was the other guy that he fought? It was a German fellow. Jeffries, wasn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what obviously drew him out here. So he came out here. He was a boxer, a promoter. And then he took a real bath as a promoter on a fight because the fighter, the day of the fight, said, "I'm not fighting."
Oh, no.
So my dad went, at that time, Ty Cobb. I think the first Ty Cobb. There's a couple of them running around now.
Right.
But Ty Cobb was with the Reno Gazette-Journal.
Right,
and he
sports
was a sports writer.
Mm-hmm.
And him and my dad were pretty good friends. Walt Baring was growing up here. A lot of people growing up here did things in this state. Mm-hmm. And he went to Ty and he said, "I just took a bath as a promoter. We got to do something about this." Ty said, "Go get all the information from other states, and then we'll go see my dad, who at that time was a state senator." So they did that. They put it all together. And in 1941, the Nevada State Athletic Commission was born.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
It had that. And my dad was on it as many years as I can remember. He was either the chair of the commission or on the commission.
Okay. And he was also vice mayor up there in
Vice
Elko?
Mayor Elko for a lot of years. He started up there. He came back to Reno after World War II, met my mom, instant love, got married, and they took off to Elko. He was dealing at first, and in those days, folks, dealing meant cards.
Yeah, right. Not what it means today, right.
And then he got a shot at going to KELK Radio.
Right.
And he was the manager of KELK Radio until his death.
Yeah, you can still listen to that radio station if you drive through there, right? They have a lot more radio stations now. In fact, Elko has grown substantially because of Newmont Mining, Barrick Mining, and other junior mining companies up there, right? It's fairly prosperous up there. Do you get up there from time to time?
Very seldom. I don't have a whole lot up there. My dad's buried up there. My mom's buried up there. Yeah. But aside from that, my mom moved down here after I came back from the Army. Oh, okay. And so we pretty well wound up down here.
Okay.
Is there one major there in Elko?
There always has been, and what's interesting is it's always been in the Burns family.
Oh.
My dad died. It was the Burnses. It was Burnses when I was growing up. And then when my mom passed away, I called up there and I said she wants to be cremated and then be in the same gravesite as my dad. And it was a Burns. Another generation
of them.
They arranged it through him. So as far as I know, it's still in the family.
Yeah. So you spent your childhood there, but as you became a young adult, you were in Reno and you went to school here, and
I came down here to Reno in 1964 to go to the University of Nevada.
Okay.
Not UNR, the University of Nevada. In fact, the second year there, Chris Alt and I were in the same dorm, so we met each other then.
Oh, super.
Doing it. And I had 2 years of really good partying time.
That's what they do in college for sure. Listen, let's take a break here, and we'll come back, and we'll explore how you got into law and how you worked your way into the district attorney's office finally, and some of the experiences you had there on Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Right back. If you're a fan of Old Tales of Nevada, past and present, we are proud to announce that now you can purchase any of our past episodes on our new website, talesofnevada.com. That's right, these stories of our great Nevada history are now available to you on DVD. Over 180 individual episodes featuring the people, places, and stories that have made us all so proud to live in this great state. So get yours today, a piece of Nevada history. Visit talesofnevada.com.
At Harry's Quality Cars, the 500 vehicles in stock speak for themselves.
Most of us have one owner car fax reports.
We all have warranties. I have very low mileage.
I'm the prettiest car in stock.
I'm muscle-bound and ready for the hills.
Harry's Quality Cars, local and family-owned for over 40 years on Kitski and Gentry and on South Virginia Street. Harry's cars really do speak for themselves.
Drive one of us home today!
Shoeman's Custom Cycle with a biker's bike shop. From the new center pipes to custom renovation, building ultimate machines is our reputation. Feel the performance, experience the power. From chrome to leather, the selection doesn't quit. If it wasn't done to Shoeman's, it ain't. Shoeman's Custom Cycle with a biker's bike shop.
We've invested billions to bring you the most advanced network in the nation, Charter Spectrum. Get the most HD anywhere with Charter Spectrum TV. Over 200 high-def channels available, 10,000 instant on-demand choices, and the Charter app to watch live TV anywhere at home on your mobile devices. Just $29.99 a month. Call 866-517-6150 now. Charter Spectrum Internet accelerates you to incredible speeds. 60 megabits per second, 20 times faster than phone company DSL. Just $29.99 a month. And Charter Spectrum Voice delivers unlimited calling with none of the phone company's extra fees or taxes. Just $29.99 a month. Charter Spectrum. More free HD, faster internet, unlimited calling, and no contract to sign. Just $29.99 a month each. Call 866-517-6150 now. Charter Spectrum is here.
We're back here in Old Tales of Nevada, past and present, and we're having a great conversation with our district attorney for 20 years here in Washoe County, Dick Gammick. Just retired in January and is having a great time in retirement, but you were saying you're pretty busy as a retired fella. Haven't gotten into that real retirement mode yet. I don't think you will. You don't have the personality for it. You got to be doing something, right, Dick? We're going to talk about some of the things you have in your daily life today as we go on. But we were talking about 1964. You graduated, or you went to UNR at that, or University of Nevada?
I started at the University of Nevada in
1964. That's when I graduated high school.
I graduated from there in 77, so it took a while.
It took a while. Would you go to night school or something, or what?
I spent my 2 years there. I kept telling my dad had an 8th grade education. He was bound and determined I was going to be the first one in the family to go to college.
Okay.
And I kept telling him I'm not ready for this and everything. Yeah. So the summer after the second year, a friend of mine up in Elko, Bill Combs, we grew up together. Two of us got on a bus and went to Salt Lake City and enlisted. This was in 66, which was Vietnam was right.
Yeah, you're right in the middle of Vietnam for sure. How many brothers and sisters did you have, by the way?
I had a younger brother.
One younger brother. So 1966, you went into the Army?
Yes.
You joined the Army. That was really smart, Dick. You know where they send Army guys in those days? Directly to Vietnam. You got a one-way ticket,
Well, I talked to Marines, and I talked to Navy, and I talked to Air Force, and I talked to the Army, and most of them wanted a college degree in order to become an officer. And I knew I wanted to become an officer.
Oh, you did?
I did. That much I knew.
Oh, okay.
That I wanted to do that. So the Army said, well, if you qualify and everything, we'll send you. I said, okay, fine. So I enlisted in the Army.
All right. There. I joined the Air Force because I didn't want to go to Vietnam. You know where they sent me? Great Falls, Montana. I was defending the northern flank, against all those Canucks up there.
In case Russia comes all across the strait again.
Yeah, that's right.
What about those guys when you're in the Army? Do you guys still know who it were or ever talk to them again?
I remember who they were, but I have no contact with them. You probably spent more time in the Army than I did. I put in my 4 years and got out. You were in longer, though, weren't you?
Yeah, I put 7 years.
7 years.
Duty.
Why did you do 7?
Well, at the time, so I never really planned out in the future. I always see what comes, keep my options open, and just take the best one and go.
Right.
And by the time I got into the Army, I was lucky. I did go to OCS, became an officer in field artillery, and then I had a shot at flight school, so I went to flight school, learned how to fly helicopters, and got married in '68, and we're still married today. Yeah. And then after I went to Vietnam, not long after we got married, and actually didn't have a bad tour over there. It wasn't bad. Its moments.
Yeah.
But
did you fly those H-43, the Hueys? Is that what you flew?
UH-1.
UH-1s, yeah.
And B models, gunships, and I flew slicks.
So you were in and out of the battle zone.
Oh yeah, we were in 3 Corps north of Saigon, so we were in and out of a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
supported infantry divisions there.
Yeah,
but I never took a hit.
Never took a hit. Wow.
No, that was lucky.
Yeah, and then you, because of your service, you were able to receive what, the Bronze Star?
I've got a whole
slew of them.
Got a picture around somewhere.
Whole chest full of stuff there. Yeah. Well, that's great. So after 7 years, you said that's enough, and you got out.
Actually, the Army said that's when they started. They told us when we went to flight school that because after Korea and World War II, they riffed all the pilots because you were in your branch, field artillery, and you were competing with guys who were field artillerymen their whole career. And so they just outwent the pilots, and they told us that wouldn't happen to us after Vietnam.
Oh, it did happen.
Right.
Yeah, sure it did. So you wound up back here in Reno?
Yeah, I came back here. A guy named Jim Berry at the time was the city manager. And I came back and saw him, and I saw Chief Parker at Reno Police Department because that was my second shot to go to police, and I wound up qualified for the police department, went to work as a Reno police officer.
So you wanted to be a policeman. The law was kind of your interest as you were growing up, or what?
To an extent, I was spending most of my time growing up just trying to survive school. I was not
what kind of student were you, if you want to tell us?
I had a quick story, and I hope I don't waste any time, but I had a teacher, she gave me an E in English. I went to her, I said, what's an E? And she said, well, you didn't do well enough to get a D, and I didn't want to flunk you because I don't want you back. So if you pass the second semester, you get a passing grade. I said, okay, fine.
E for effort.
Yeah, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, you became a police officer. How long did you serve as a police officer?
I was with Reno for 4 years, 10 months, 5 years.
5 years. Part of that as what, K-9, right?
Yeah, I was about 3 years in K-9. I loved it.
You did, huh? Yeah. So I can imagine Reno. Was it? How would you describe Reno in those days, as far as the environment for crime? And it was pretty easy back in those days, or what?
It was a whole lot different than it is today.
Was it? Yeah.
We pretty well ruled the streets.
You did, huh?
And whatever it took to rule the streets, we did. And it was, like I said, a whole lot different today. There's stuff that today we'd be prosecuted for, but that was the atmosphere in those days, and it's the way it was.
Well,
we had a lot of crooks that lived in Reno, but they knew not to mess around in Reno.
Well, you probably had more respect from the community as to law and order than you do today, right?
I don't think there's any question. And today with the media and the instant media and all the stuff that goes on, it really makes it tough.
Yeah.
I couldn't be on the street today.
Yeah, no, it'd be tough. Body cameras, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, our dogs used to bite people. And if you get a dog bite today, it's a major thing.
Yeah, bro.
We took care of it.
You get suspended, I suppose, if you let your dog bite somebody. Yeah, they do an investigation about it. But anyway, you could have been a police officer, I suppose, for the rest of your career if you wanted to. So what spurred you on to further into the law?
I had a lieutenant who I got to be pretty good friends with, and we're sitting there one night in the middle of winter talking to each other. And he says, and I told him, I'm looking at going to school. And he says, you got to stay here. You got to make police officer a career and all that. And I said, let me ask you something. Where's the sergeant? He's out here in the street tonight, too, fighting all this snow. You're the lieutenant. You're out here talking to me. Where's the captain? Oh, he's out here, too, isn't he? I said, what are you telling me? I can stay out here and keep doing this, or I can get a chance to go to school, and I've got a chance to do that. A guy that still lives here now, I went to the university, I went up to a business law class, and the teacher's up there at the front, and he's in Levi's, he's in a Western shirt, he's chewing Copenhagen, he's got boots on, and I'm sitting there, and I'm dressed the same way, and I'm chewing Copenhagen, and he's from Ely, and I'm from Elko.
Oh, okay.
And I went up and introduced myself, and we formed a real good friendship.
Super.
He was teaching a class, he was an attorney then. He was teaching a class down in McGeorge on Nevada law on Saturdays. So he said, I want you to come down and teach one of my classes. And I said, I'm a street cop. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
He said, I want you to come down and tell them what happens.
Uh-huh.
I want you to, that's why I want you there. I'm like, fine. So I went down with Ron. We stayed at one of the professors' houses. They were out of town, so they let us have the house. We had dinner with the dean and his brother and the dean of students and all those folks. They take us to this place. It's a 2-story concrete building. It wasn't real attractive. The bottom floor was bikers.
Oh,
and then
boy.
the top floor was a Chinese restaurant. I look at all these bikers. And I said, what are you guys trying to do to me? They find out I'm a cop down here.
You're in
It's
trouble.
not going to be good.
Yeah, right.
And we had a great time. And then we wound up at the dean of students for after dinner drinks. And when I got back here, I talked to my wife and I said, you want to go to law school? And she said, I want you off the street.
Wow. So that was a good thing.
Yeah.
She bought into that right away.
Yeah.
So what
She
school
said,
did you go to?
McGeorge. And we didn't have.
Where's that at?
Down in Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento.
University of
Good
Pacific,
school?
McGeorge School of Law.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good school.
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
You come in first day and they'd say, and you hear this a lot from different places, but they would tell you, look to your right, look to your left, only one of you will be here at the end.
Ah.
And exactly what happened to our
Is law
class.
school pretty tough?
That one is.
It is, huh?
Some law schools, if you get in, they'll get you out.
Yeah, yeah.
This school, if you get in, they'll get you out,
Yeah.
but not the way you want to
That's
go.
what you want. But you did graduate from
Yes.
school. Okay. So did you come back to Reno right away and open up a practice, or did you want to go into public
I
service?
had no interest at all in opening a practice. By then, I knew Mills Lane real well. We really
Because
hit
of the
off well.
boxing connection?
Well, it's a little different story there. Right after I became a police officer, we had a call of 3 guys holding 2 couples in an apartment not too far south from here at gunpoint. So we rolled down. Those days we didn't have SWAT. We didn't have K-9. We didn't have any of the specialty stuff. So we're it.
Yeah.
And we rolled down there. The front door flies open. This guy comes out. I took a header toward the door, grabbed him, threw him down. There's a woman standing in the hallway, and I screamed at her to get down. I went over her, and I caught 2 guys in the front room, both of them armed, and I started screaming a lot of, let's say, directives that would get them to do what I wanted to do. I was swearing at them like a son of a gun, telling them what they needed to do.
Yeah.
And one of them went out the back door, and I heard a shotgun rack out there, so I knew he wasn't going far. And the one that was still in the living room, he looked like he was trying to decide what to do, and I was busy explaining to him there was a bad move on his part.
Yeah.
So he finally dropped his gun. So we got the 2, and then the 3rd guy we found up under a bed upstairs, wetting on himself.
No.
He was in the wrong line of work.
He was a little scared.
So I get a subpoena, first one I'd received, and it said, come to the DA's office. So I go up there, and they take me back to the conference room, and big table like this, and another short guy with bald head sitting at the other end. He says, come on in here, you my officer? Yes, sir, I am. He said, I'll tell you what, we're going to take these guys in there, we're going to give them a fair trial, and we're going to hang these sons of bitches. I was hooked.
That was it. So you two were instant friends. I can imagine, because neither one of you have ever been known for political correctness, right? Which got you in trouble every once in a while.
That was one of the things he was really proud of, was the fact that he got an award one time for being the most politically incorrect politician there was.
Love it. I love political incorrectness myself.
I don't want to bother me.
Yeah. So, but that was a really cool thing that you were able to get to school and get a degree. And then I want to pick up how you got into the DA's office eventually, but we've got to take another break here. So let's take a break on Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present. We'll come back with more of the story, so stay tuned.
Spring arrives at Boutique Elegante. The fabulous colors of spring, all in denim fabrics, but with accents on color, color, color. Of course, sweaters are a must. The newest color block in soft weaves. Influenced by the rainbow, beautiful little dresses, gaucho sets, the blending of fabrics to create caprice sets. Exquisite fashions for your tropical holiday, a special dinner, or the opera. You'll find all of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
Deluxe Travel has been serving the Northern Nevada business and leisure traveler for over 30 years. Make 2014 the year Deluxe Travel meets your travel needs. Don't be fooled that you can find better deals on internet travel sites. Deluxe Travel will always get the best prices and provide the personal service you deserve. Let Deluxe Travel send you on your travel destinations today. Deluxe Travel, the official travel agency for Old Tales in Nevada and most Reno businesses. Have a great trip.
At Harry's Quality Cars, the 500 vehicles in stock speak for themselves.
Most of us have one owner car fax reports.
We all have warranties. I have very low mileage.
I'm the prettiest car in stock.
I'm muscle-bound and ready for the hills.
Harry's Quality Cars, local and family owned for over 40 years on Kitski and Gentry and on South Virginia Street. Harry's cars really do speak for themselves.
Drive one of us home today!
Fun, fashionable furs. Epitome of glamour for decades. Designer lines for women and men. Only the best will do. William Furs is the ultimate shopping experience for Reno with furs, accessories, and great gift ideas. Winter is here. Enjoy savings of 20 to 50% off. Treat yourself or your loved ones and choose from thousands of pieces in our beautiful new inventory. William Furs, a full-service fur salon since 1977.
Welcome back to Old Tales in Nevada, past and present. Let me just introduce everybody. Once again, I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show. And with me, Roy Marshall. Everybody knows him. He's here every week with us as well. And our special guest, and we're honored to have him because he brings us such great pride to have individuals like this individual, Dick Gammick, our district attorney for 20 years here in Washoe County, and just had done a great job of protecting the citizens of Northern Nevada. So we really appreciate him having the time here with us on the show today. And we were talking about your first encounter with Mills Lane. You do a nice imitation. But you had this instant rapport, it seems, and then either you expressed this to him or he wanted to help you, and he helped you get into that law school, correct?
Yeah, Ron Bath and Mills Lane were the two individuals that did help me get out to go to law school. And I only had one reason for going down there and to become an attorney, and that was to be a prosecutor.
You want to be a prosecutor?
Not the least bit interested in civil law or family law or any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
I want to be a prosecutor.
Yeah, well, that probably is probably the more exciting parts of law is being a prosecutor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're on the cutting edge of everything that happens, in the wrong side of life, I suppose. But you have an opportunity to fix it and put people away who are bad, right? Is that the way you felt about it?
That's one of the things.
Yeah.
A lot of other things, too.
Yeah. So you came back from graduation at the George School there, and Mills Lane immediately brought you into the office, or what?
No, as fate would have it, he had no openings in the office. Okay. So I put in, and he had a good point, and I thought it was well taken, is I put in with a bunch of the judges to go clerk for one of the judges.
Oh.
And boy, did I slop through there again. My life's been great.
Yeah, really.
Got a lot of aces pulled in it.
Yeah.
And I wound up with Judge William Foreman, who was he was the epitome of a judge, just absolutely a super guy. And I spent about 10 months, 11 months with him. Usually it's a year commitment, but Mills had a position open up.
Okay.
And so he came and told me, in fact, we were in a trial with Judge Foreman. I'm sitting there because we were the bailiff in those days, too.
Okay.
So we packed a gun. We did all the duties with bailiff and law clerk and everything else.
Wow.
And his secretary came up and says, Mills wants to see you. And I said, okay, fine. So I go downstairs, and he said, okay, I've got a job in family support. Do you want to come in the office? And Mills, I don't care what the job is. I went to school to come in this office. I said, yes. So I go back upstairs. He said, okay, you're hired. I said, fine. Mills wants to see you. I go back downstairs. He says, I got some extra money, and I told you what I was going to pay you, but I can bump that. Super. I don't care, Mills. Just get me in the doggone
Wonderful.
office. I go back upstairs. Mills wants to see you. This does have an end to it. Yeah. He says, I just got done talking to the county manager, and we're going to have to cut, so I can't give you that raise. In fact, I'm going to have to cut your salary a little bit. Mills, I don't care. Just get me a place. And then he called me back in one more time.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not going to put you in family support. I'm going to move another guy. You're going to be in criminal prosecuting. Good.
Wow.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's great, huh? So there you started. So how long did you work with Mills as, what would you be called there, deputy?
I was a deputy
district?
DA, and then I became a chief deputy DA and started running teams.
Okay. How many years did that take
close
you?
Close to 8 years.
8 years, okay.
Mills, yeah. And Ed Basil was in there as the assistant district attorney, and it was a good group.
So you served with Mills as he was the district attorney, and you did that until he retired or until?
Well, I did that. Mills went to the bench as a judge.
That's right, the judge, right.
Dorothy Nash Holmes got elected as the district attorney. We got along like two cats in a bag. We didn't get along real well.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the potential people who would run the next time and where my career was going. Now I was looking a little bit ahead to say, where are we going here? Because I knew doggone good and well I did not want to go out and hang a shingle. There's no way in hell. I'd probably gone back to being a cop if that had been the choice. So I got to looking at who was making noise about running. I talked to all of them. And finally, I just talked to my wife, and I said, there's only one way I'm staying in that office, and that's to go.
Right.
I already had 10 years in.
Right.
And I said, that's just to go. So we went.
So you went, and you were against Nash. You ran against
Nash,
her.
Kyle Dunlap, and Ed Basil.
Right, yeah.
And the talking heads, the ones who are the political gurus around here, had me number 5 in a race of 4.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I didn't think I had a chance in hell of getting elected DA.
But your dad, being a politician, you probably had some experience about how to run a campaign and all that kind of thing. And I would imagine your straight talk, compared to being politically correct all the time, was probably a refreshing message that people wanted to hear, huh?
I've always just called it the way I see it.
Yeah, you always have.
You never get in trouble that way.
Yeah.
You can get in trouble, believe me.
You get in trouble.
But you never forget what you had to say or what direction you were going. Exactly. Bill's introduced me to another guy. I know I'm throwing some names out around here, but they're guys that have been real solid in the whole thing. He was Mills's and Bill Raggio's and several different people. He was their political advisor, named John Moore.
John Moore?
At I know John Moore. He's working with JB Marketing, but he has his own. He has his own now.
Yeah.
And John, in fact, he's got several of the legislators down there now.
He does a lot of political work,
He had 4 of the 5 commissioners a few years ago.
Right.
So he's done a lot of that. And that was, again, another race on my way. John we worked hard. We spent 2 years. We walked Washoe County.
Amazing.
And today, I still have people come up to me and say, you came up and knocked on my door. Come on, that's been over 20 years ago.
They remember that hands-on approach. Yeah, that's fantastic. So anyway, you won the election, right?
Yep.
And you get into the office. You take over from Mills Lane. Well, those are big shoes to fill.
I took over from Dorothy.
From Dorothy. Well, that was probably, I don't know how the staff felt about that. Maybe they were happy to have a guy like you, which resembled Mills Lane's way of operating, I suppose. Huh?
It's amazing how many people I run into that say you took over from Mills Lane. They don't remember that.
They don't remember that one in between, yeah.
And I went in there with the attitude of, I can't mess it up any worse than it is right now. And it took us a long time to build a really good, solid staff. It took us a long time. The commissioner, she'd irritated them so bad that they cut her budget tremendously, so I had to build a budget. One of the first things I did was go into the commission and say, look, I have a single box computer sitting in the middle of my office that has crime scene tape around it so nobody touches it because it's the only computer we have. And it's a dumb computer, so we have just these different screens out here that we use.
Yeah.
We need to modernize. We're probably the furthest behind any DA's office in the country.
Wow.
I need $250,000, and I'm going to warn you right now, that's going to start me.
Yeah.
Because once we start, we got to keep feeding it.
Yeah.
It becomes a big monster.
Right.
They gave me the money. They said, go for it.
Wow.
And we are now one of the best equipped and most modern DA's offices in the country in technology.
Yeah. Well, you were a pretty successful prosecutor in your own right. You were telling me, or I was reading, that I think you only lost one murder case out of 100 or so that you tried.
Well, I did over 100 jury trials, and I lost 5 cases, and only one murder.
One murder that you lost. That's amazing. Yeah. Now, what about as your tenure as the district attorney? Did you have a pretty successful win rate there during your 20 years?
During the 20 years as district attorney, I didn't get involved in trying half dozen cases maybe.
Really?
Because you can't. It's administrator.
You're administrator, yeah.
People don't realize it. This is the second or third largest law office in the state of Nevada.
Oh, well, yeah, I could believe that.
Yeah, I had 211 people. Out of that, 62 of them were attorneys.
Wow, that must have been a fun thing to try to manage, huh?
Get all
a lot of egos running around out there. But what about your staff as a group? How did you do over the years, do you think?
We, as I said, we built, and I told Chris when I handed the reins to him, is you've got a tremendous staff. I wouldn't move hardly anybody.
Chris Hicks you're talking about.
He's
the current
DA now.
Yeah.
And he was one of my team chiefs.
John, you guys should bring up those famous ones that he...
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where I was going with this. Yeah. Who were some of... I wanted to get into some of the more famous trials that have happened, some of the crimes that caught your attention more than others. There were numerous, no doubt.
Oh,
but
we had a lot. Just a lot of major stuff.
What was your first major case that you had to be involved with as the district attorney?
If I can back up on you just a hair, tell you what the atmosphere is like here, because I brag on this every chance I get. Washoe County is one of the few counties, not the only county in the nation, where everybody's like this. And I'm talking federal, state, and local. Law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, the whole bit.
Good.
And it's just...
unusual.
Totally unusual. When we had the Mizpah Hotel burned down that killed 12 people, we asked for some help from the ATF. They sent, I don't know if they call them their platinum team or the gold team or what they call them, but they sent the team that did Oklahoma City bombing. I mean, the top team came out here. And they helped us out, got it all straightened out, figured out what went on. And on their exit briefing, the head of the team said, we go all over the world. We are the team.
Yeah.
And we go all over the world. We work with all kinds of, we have never seen the cooperation we've seen in this county.
Yeah.
So because of that, we've got about a 95% solving rate on murder cases.
Amazing.
And we get them a lot. We get a lot of major stuff going on here. Probably the one that affected the community the most, and it was probably well known, was Biela. And that was, he had raped 3 students up at the university, and then he took one, kidnapped her, raped her, and we didn't find her for quite a while.
Yeah, I still drive by that lot over there in South Meadows, which is still empty, and my mind goes there every single time that you drive by there. You can't help it. It was such a traumatic experience for everybody in the community, you know. I wanted to ask you some questions about that too. But we're not going to have time to do that. But that was one. We also had another case dealing with the Mack family.
Darren Mack.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about a couple of those different cases, because no doubt you were very familiar with some of these families that you had to prosecute. And I was wondering how you dealt with those kind of situations. But let's take a break here, and we'll come back and explore some of those cases on Old Tales in Nevada, past and present.
Hi there, I'm Hugh Roy Marshall of the Marshall Mint in Virginia City, Nevada. I'm proud to announce that our 7-ingot set honoring the V&T Railroad is now finished.
That's right, Uroy. These beautiful 999 silver ingots celebrate the engines from the world-famous V&T Railroad and honor Nevada's sesquicentennial. These limited edition treasures can be purchased only at the Marshall Mint in Virginia City, Nevada.
Or visit us at marshallmint.com to get yours today.
Get the Charter Spectrum Triple Play. It's more than meets the eye. With over 200 free HD channels available, it's the most HD you can get. Instant access to over 10,000 on-demand movies and shows. Plus the Charter app for live TV that jumps to mobile devices in any room. All that for $29.99 a month. Switch to Charter Spectrum Internet, faster than the speed of WoW. Take off with 60 megs of speed, bandwidth that lets multi-people multitask, stream movies, play games, watch videos, and share vines all at once. No slowdowns. Shazam! For only $29.99 a month. Just call 877-959-1634. Then pick up Charter Spectrum Voice for unlimited local and long-distance calling. And catch this. No drop calls. Stuck in a contract? Charter pays up to $500 to get you out. Charter Spectrum TV, Internet, and Voice, $29.99 a month each. Call 877-959-1634. See for yourself. Call Charter today.
Spring arrives at Boutique Elegante. The fabulous colors of spring, all in denim fabrics, but with accents on color, color, color. Of course, sweaters are a must. the newest color block in soft weaves. Influenced by the rainbow, beautiful little dresses, gaucho sets, the blending of fabrics to create caprice sets, exquisite fashions for your tropical holiday, a special dinner, or the opera. You'll find all of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
We're back here for our last segment of Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present. Time flies when we're talking about a story of a man like Dick Gammick, who was our district attorney for 20 years here in Washoe County. A very colorful district attorney, a straight shooter, but a very successful prosecutor, and has taken a lot of bad guys off the street. And we were just getting into some of these cases, some of these more well-known cases that happened here in Washoe County. One of them being the Biella case. Now, when you finally got involved in that, or the investigation started to roll on that, he wasn't an easy guy to find, was he?
No, what broke the case is a young lady came forward that had noticed some oddball things going on, and I don't think she was his wife. I think she was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I can't remember all the details, but when she came forward and started giving information, things started unwinding.
Yeah. Were you getting close to him anyway, or you were you didn't know what to do or where to go?
The Reno Police Department homicide guys did a tremendous job. They interviewed literally thousands of people. There were DNA. I don't even remember how many DNA tests were run because we did have DNA at the scene. And it was a whole lot of investigation before she came forward and pointed the finger.
Right. How many months went by between the finding of Brianna to the actual capture of Biella there? Was it months?
I don't even remember. It was quite a bit. It was
quite a few months, wasn't it?
They were working hard trying to get all of it done, and I was involved. I was in it then.
Oh, okay.
So it was.
Did you take it to court? Did you try that case yourself?
No, I had a couple of other of our folks that had worked it, and I told them to go for it and go and take it in.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think Chris Hicks was one of the prosecutors on that one.
And that was successful. He's in jail now, right?
He's on death row.
Oh, he's on death row. There's quite a few on death row, isn't there, in Nevada?
Yes,
in fact, isn't the one that ran people over on the street? Did she finally die on death row?
Priscilla Ford did die.
She did die. She never was executed. No. She just died of old age there. And that's the problem probably with the system today is you do all that work to get them convicted and they're still in jail.
Well, if you have about 10 more segments, we'll talk about death penalty.
I know that was a frustration for you.
Big time.
Big time, yeah. Darren Mack. Now, this is where I wanted to ask you, no doubt, you being a district attorney for as many years as you were, you knew the Mack family. You probably had some social activity with them along the way. You probably knew Darren pretty well. Now, that had to just be a shocker for you when that whole case came up, right?
No, I saw it coming.
You saw it coming, okay.
Darren and I used to catch lunch occasionally downtown, and he was way beyond being under any control at all.
Really?
He would express.
He was definitely taking something. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, really?
I don't know what, but it didn't look right for quite a while.
He was into India kelp and stuff.
Is that what?
Oh, is that what it was?
Trying to bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding, yeah.
So I don't know if he was into steroids. Also, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But he had an absolute hate for Judge Weller. Absolute hate.
Oh, well,
absolute hate for his wife. And I would tell him, Darren, you've been divorced before. You've been through this. Knock it off. Back up. Get the process out of the way and get on with your life.
Right.
Crying out loud. You're obsessed with this stuff.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said one time, he said, Weller has hit me now. I got to pay $15,000 a month support. And I went, if that was me, there'd be no way in hell.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. No. But you're running all over the world with custom-made jewelry and all the stuff you're doing. It's not a big thing for you.
Right.
Chill out.
Yeah.
Well, next thing I know is sitting there with the United States Attorney, Dan Bogdan. He used to be one of my lawyers. And we're sitting in my office, and the secretary runs in and says there's been a shooting in the courthouse.
Oh, boy.
I go, okay. And so we're talking, and she's right back, and she says, a judge has been shot. And across the street. I said, okay. And then she says, no, a judge has been shot in this building. To this day, I don't know where Dan went.
Wow. He's gone.
Yeah. And I grabbed my chief investigator. We head over there. By then, Reno Police Department was already starting to respond. Sheriff's office was already there. And I found Chuck. He was downstairs. They had him on a gurney. And he had been hit in the chest,
Whoa.
but nothing had penetrated the rib cage. It was all superficial wounds.
Good thing.
And it was a shot, as we found out, it was a long shot through 2 plates of plate glass and still hit him in the chest.
Isn't that amazing?
That was an unbelievable shot.
Unbelievable. Yeah, for sure.
So we had that was going, and then we get a call because Darren, I went, okay, this is what's been going on. So they sent some guys out to his house, and they called back and they said, we just found a woman in the garage who's dead. So it pretty well tied. This wasn't who done it.
Yeah. Did it go through your mind that it was him right away? That he might have been responsible for the shooting?
I went up to the judge's office with some officers. I didn't touch anything. I just stood back and watched them. And Darren Mack's file was laying right on top of a shelf. Oh. They said, we got Darren Mack's file here. And then it clicked.
Then it clicked because you had lunch with him.
Damn son of a gun.
Yeah.
So where'd he go?
Yeah.
That was the whole problem. He threatened other people. We were concerned that he was going to kill other people. We got the FBI in on it. They did a unlawful flight to avoid prosecution warrant, which they would do for us quite often, help us out. And we had the whole thing going, trying to find him. Found his cell phone out along I-80 where he pitched it.
Yeah.
And we had no idea where he was at. I'm sitting in Rotary one Monday, and I get a phone call on my cell, and it's Darren.
Whoa.
And he says, I need to talk to you.
Wow.
I said, okay, I'm at a meeting. Let me get out of here, and I'll call you. I can't call you back. You call me. I said, okay. So I got about halfway back to the office, and he called me again. And he said, all the people in the government, you're the only one I trust.
Wow.
I'm down in Mexico. I'm not going to tell you where. And I want to set it up so I surrender to you. And I said, okay, let's let me do some sniffing around and see what's going on. So I headed back to the office. I called the FBI and I said, get up here. And Mike showed up, Mike West, an outstanding guy.
Yeah.
And he showed up and he started his magic stuff. And we started tracking where Darren was at. And we finally got it nailed down to 2 different towns that he was in down off Baja. And him and I talked. He called me several times. We talked about me flying down there. I said, I'll fly down. I'm going to tell you right now, though, don't you be walking out of some building with a gun in your hand.
Right.
The rifle's still missing.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to trust you, you got to trust me.
Right.
So we were setting that up. And the next call I got was from some local attorneys saying, we represent Darren Mack. Actually, we were told before then that he represented Darren Mack, and we knew that wasn't true. Because in order for you to have an attorney, you've got to hire him.
Sure.
You can't have somebody else do it.
Right.
And we knew that the only person he'd been in contact with was me. And so we knew that wasn't true. But then when he called me back, the attorneys were on the line. So I said, okay, what's going to happen from here? And they said, well, we're going to take it from here. And I said, fine.
So you had to let it go. Yeah. You can't push it. There was some controversy about those phone calls and those kinds of things, but you were never found to do anything wrong.
Well, the judge held that I violated some rules, but the judge wasn't given the straight facts.
The whole story. So once it was straightened out, you were cool.
Well, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Cool the whole time, but I never got to testify.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing, you know, being an attorney in a city like this and knowing, most of the community, because you're an out front kind of guy. You're involved with a lot of community efforts and things like that. So, you sometimes know some of these people that do bad things, and you have to go after them. Did you?
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Chuck and Rosa, his wife Rosa, have been very good friends of mine since we've been out here, and we see each other quite often, actually. And everybody says is Chuck mean in the courtroom or something, or why did Darren Mack get so upset with Chuck? I can't. There's something that he told him or whatever that made him extremely mad, I guess. I don't know. Or was it just the trial that did it? Or?
No, they never even went to trial on it this time.
I never got into trial that time.
It was just he thought he was very arrogant. He thought he was picking on him, and when he assessed him the money, he was just mad.
He was mad.
Yeah, he zeroed in on
any judge probably.
He zeroed in on Judge Weller.
Whoever would have done it to him, yeah.
Chuck's a very nice man.
We've had him on the show. Yeah, absolutely. What about this Chaz Higgs? Now, he was a character, wasn't he?
That was a real mind twister for quite a while. I mean, come on, you get the Secretary of State for the state, Secretary of State for the state.
Yeah, for the state of Nevada, right?
But you get the Secretary of State killed or dies.
Yeah.
It started out with dies.
Yeah.
And then things just kind of started falling together.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that saved it is they took a blood sample of her right after she died, because this stuff goes away quickly. And it turned out being one of these drugs away real quickly. Chaz Higgs was a nurse. He had access to that type of drug.
Yeah. Wow.
We went. It was really quite a trick.
Now, were you involved in the interrogation on that? Did you?
No, we didn't. We stay away from those because then we start getting into conflict of interest.
Oh, I see.
I've been to interrogations and everything else. In fact, I had one that the guy kept asking to see me, so I finally went to see him. And he killed a woman, 2 women here. He killed one in Colorado, and he came out of Florida, so we don't know what else he did. And anyway, I went to see him. I gave him his Miranda rights, and everything up to the time I saw him was suppressed by the court because they didn't give him his Miranda rights, and everything afterwards was saved because I did.
Oh,
it wasn't much because he just bullshitting me the whole time.
Yeah.
I knew it. He knew it.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it must be some strange personalities.
Yeah, it's real touchy when you do that.
Yeah. I mean, when you meet these killers, these people who commit these heinous crimes, you have to exercise a lot of self-control because they are some strange folks, aren't they?
Well, we're always, you get a frame of mind, and at the same thing, I try to teach all my guys and gals. Probably pretty close to half my prosecutors were women. Outstanding.
Yeah,
they get tough.
Yeah.
And I try to teach them, you got to step back. You got to keep, what's your evidence? How are you going to do this? What are your charges? You got to stay professional.
Yeah, because I imagine these guys have no conscience at all. They're sociopaths. They don't feel any regret. They're just, horrible human beings, if you want to call them that. Now, besides trying and being so successful with these kinds of cases, you also, like you said, modernized the office. In fact, you were instrumental in getting some new buildings built for the law enforcement agencies here in town.
Well, we did it aimed at the office. We were in an old building. We were in 3 different buildings downtown as the DA's office.
Oh, wow.
That just made it disjointed.
Yeah, you can't
didn't really work well. So we had an opportunity to go for a new building. Actually, we were looking for property. Mm-hmm. So I went over and saw the guys that owned Don Carano and Jerry. I can't remember his last name right now. But I went over and talked to them, and I said, look, I can't make any deals. It was the Pioneer property. I'm the DA. I don't make deals. Other people do that. But if you were approached to sell this property, would you think about doing it? And they said, absolutely. Good. So I went back and I told Katie, who was the county manager at that time, I said, they will talk. Mm-hmm. So long story short, the county wound up buying that whole piece of property.
So you got a whole new law enforcement center.
So we're sitting there looking at that, and we're saying, okay, we're going to build a DA's office, we're going to build a courthouse.
Yeah.
And long story short, we wound up catty corner from there, and we built $38 million, us in the municipal court.
Okay, we are out of time. A great way to end. But we could have a whole nother show. But Dick, we want to thank you so much for coming and telling us about your story.
Yeah, this is
life and story.
Us a new look at the area historically. That's the legal part.
Brings us pride to have you here in Nevada, and we hope you stay here for a very long time.
It's not great that we've had all these awful people.
We didn't even talk about his exploits with the Reno Rodeo. We'll get that in another segment. But anyway, that's about it for today. We have to close, and we want to thank you, the audience, for being with us for this segment, and invite you back next week for another episode of Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present. In the meantime, John O'Brien, Roy Marshall, and Dick Gammick would like to say have a great Nevada day. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.